Welcome, our fellow lovers of love, and thank you for joining us on yet another excursion through the stream of consciousness, down the river of tranquility, to fill the lake of life with love.
And good evening, our fellow lovebirds out there, and welcome to this edition of Late Night Love. Hold on, let me get this because they're not going to know who the heck we are. Let's get there. We go. Welcome to this edition of Late Night Love. And as you can see, it's a festive gag. But when you use a green screen as your background, you know, for your studios, because you have to, because we're in a garage, people. Let's be honest, we're in a garage. We've got a green screen back behind here, and well, Christmas uses a lot of green themed colors.
Yeah, they do.
So as best we could do is put some green theme behind us and kind of hope that Lubby's green colors shine through. Darth Vader, as you can see, my Darth Vader shirt. It doesn't have a whole lot of green on it, so it works much better in this environment. But actually, technically, they're both my sweaters, but that's a whole different discussion.
This is as close to 20s as he'll let us get.
Yeah. We on occasion will wear the same colored shirt. Anyway.
And you go change.
I do not change, only if you point it out. This is the only time I'll change. Anyway, if you want to send us your questions, comments, and whatevers, you can send them to love@latenightLove.us. You can find all our past shows at latenightLove.us to run all your favorite podcast video distribution networks, Rumble, YouTube, Spotify, and I think we're on iTunes and all that various good stuff. So that's it for the introductions. You know, and we've got, let's read the description of this week's. Let's see if I can pull on some. Let's see if I can do this without screwing it up like usual. All right.
This would be great.
We'll get it. In this raw and honest episode of Late Night Love, we dive into the struggles of work, parenting, and relationships, from the emotional toll of burnout and workplace drama to the challenges of raising children and maintaining romantic connections. We cover it all. Here are the real stories about missing work parties, dealing with frustrating bosses, accidental no-shows, and navigating tricky family dynamics. Plus, we tackle tough conversations about attraction, betrayal, pranks gone too far. Tune in to heartfelt advice and relatable tales that make you feel less alone in your journey through life. Hey, that was pretty good, if I may say so myself.
That was very nice.
Live read. I would have had to do it a couple times to catch. But
but
I would have done it in chunks and anyway, meld it back together. Which, by the way, we have to sit down and do for your podcast.
I know.
Yeah, we have to sit out here and go through it. Anyway, I've got parts of it done. We just have to go finish it. Okay.
And we have 5 more.
Yeah. All right. So where were we? Oh, yes. As this holiday season we're approaching, this is our pre-Christmas. We got one more show left. So before the new year. So,
and it'll be on the 27th.
Yeah. So today, I was listening to a podcast discussion last night. No, night before last. And, they were talking about defining happiness, right? Well, they weren't talking about defining happiness. They're figuring out you'll never be happy if you define happiness by those short bursts of emotion, right? If that's how you define happiness, then happiness is impossible. You can never achieve it, right? It's literally impossible. Life isn't set up that way, So I'm thinking, okay, so then the key isn't to define happiness by those, short bursts of joy. The key is to define happiness as, now we can all define it as we want. What are you content on the direction your path is going?
I like that.
Right? We're all not perfect. We all make mistakes and there's bad months. But if you look over the last 6 months, year, 2 years of your life, are you happy in the direction you're going? Right? That's where you're going to be happy. That's where happiness comes from. Happiness doesn't come from those short moments of joy because you can't maintain those. It's not possible to stay euphoric.
The body physically cannot maintain it.
Well, it's meaningless if there's nothing else.
Mm.
This is true. You can't make, but it's also meaningless. If there's nothing else, then that's meaningless. Then happiness is meaningless. That joy is meaningless if there's nothing to contrast it to. It's just existence. It becomes its own existence. So if happiness is you're content, you'd like to come home every day. You know, you like your job. Yeah, sure, some days are terrible, but generally speaking, you like the work you do. You like the impact you have on your community. You like being at home. You like your friends. You like your family. People love and respect you. That's happiness. And that judgment comes from within. It doesn't come from external forces. You can sit there. You don't have to tell anybody if you're happy with the path you've been on, but you do have the power to start changing it. And the nice thing is when you start changing it, you know, those first jumps are easy to judge. Hey, look, I'm a much better person than now. Those first changes, they can be huge, right? Extend it out 6 months. Those little micro things. Remembering to brush your teeth. If you're someone who forgets to brush your teeth for months on end, remembering 3 times a week, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
You know, start where you're at. It doesn't matter what it is. Right? Are you better than where you were before? Yeah, sweet. That's all I'm trying to say is kind of readjust as we go through this season, readjust how you define happiness. Happiness isn't those moments of joy. Those are moments of joy. Enjoy them, cherish them. You know, I'm not saying not to. I'm just saying those aren't happiness. Those are moments of joy. You can be miserable and have moments of joy. So anyway, so that's where we're starting. That's anything that's kind of what was my philosophical thought for the week. So there we go.
Yeah.
So we're going to see what happens at the end of the new year when I've had the end of vacation week and I've had some time to sit back and reflect. So anyway, we're starting off with work questions tonight.
I already know what I want to do going into 2025.
Oh, well, then we should have some production meetings, which we should probably have some production meetings anyway, but that's a whole different discussion. Talking about work, I didn't mean work questions here for about our work. I meant work questions for them.
No, I meant personally.
Yeah. Oh, well, we can talk about it next week.
I want to work on my abs again. I let that go. Just my core, just to not to work for a 6-pack this time, but for some stability, for core stability, you know. And I know the video I should be using because it gives an upper arm workout too.
That's great, but you're ruining next week's content now. We're going to have to come up with something else. So there.
Okay.
That was next week. Now what are we going to do? Okay. 4 work questions. What do we got tonight?
Work. Okay. Should I be ashamed for not going to work? He's totally burned out.
Well, no.
And he's having a hard time making it in there.
Well, should you be ashamed of being burnt out? No. Because everybody gets burnt out. And depending upon the type of burnout it is, you know, it's not necessarily a big deal. Now, if you have allowed yourself to get repeatedly burnt out, so now you are now dreading, going to work every day. Not because you're burnt out, because you dread going to work every day. You're expressing it as burnt out. That's your responsibility to change, one way or another. That's not burnt out. Burnt out is when you've been working too hard, you've been under too much stress, you haven't been paying attention to yourself, and you need a 4-day weekend, right? That's burnout. And you come back and you're kind of ready to go again, right? That's burnt out. That's depression mixed with he's allowed himself to get into a work state that isn't conducive to his mental health for whatever reason, right? There's nothing to be ashamed of. It happens, but it's something to reflect on. You are responsible for the conditioned state you are in, nobody else. And even if somebody else was responsible, you're responsible for the one of getting yourself out of it. So you might as well accept responsibility for being there. It makes the whole thing easier because it does that way. There's no bitterness. So that's what I'm saying on that one. But no, I mean, there's no shame for being burnt out and needing a day off, needing a mental health day, for needing to take some. There's no shame in that.
No, there's not.
There's not any shame in messing up and getting yourself far down a deeper hole than you realized, right? And getting really burnt out and just saying, I need a 2-month vacation, right? There's no shame in that either. If you don't learn from it and you don't change your behavior, I don't want to say it should be ashamed, but you should be something. That's, it happens. There's no shame in it happening, right? In a sense, you should be proud of your work ethic and that kind of thing. There's clearly some good in you there. But if you don't change your behavior, hello, McFly, you want to start knocking people on the forehead. What are you doing? Okay, so what's next?
People who had their requests denied and then called out being sick or whatnot. What was the aftermath? Did you ever do that?
Oh, I called out sick and I didn't care what the aftermath was. Same thing when I was ditching school. I don't care what the aftermath was. The conditions in my head were far worse than whatever aftermath I could face. So y'all can deal with it. So what they're making is a choice. Whatever aftermath is going to happen, they'll accept because they wanted to do whatever, right? Maybe they wanted to go to a wedding, but it was a no time off. They're just, I'm going anyway. Screw you guys. Yeah. You're going to get fired. So I'll get another job. If you're competent, that's actually a very easy attitude to have. Someone will hire me. I'm fine. It's a very powerful position to be in because now you've got them. They got to make a decision. Are they going to push you out the door because you wouldn't respect their need for a time off? They clearly don't care about whatever you're perceived. We're going to write you up and you're going to put a note in my file. Ooh, scare me. Yeah. But what? You're not going to give me that 10-cent raise next month? Ooh, scare me. What do you care? Right? Mm-hmm. At that stage, you're looking for another job anyway. So yeah, that's the real world is understand that they don't care what the aftermath is. If the aftermath, what they wanted to do was far more important than whatever aftermath he was going to have to go through. That's the important take to that. Now, maybe it's a mental health thing, right? They got to have an anxiety disorder and they're having a nervous breakdown. And so they physically can't get themselves into work. Yeah, they'll take that whatever aftermath at work is over having to go into work in that condition. So it's not all fun and games. I'm just saying it's a calculated decision. They know what they're doing. Okay.
Mad at my boss because he is mad at me for missing 5 out of 8 work parties this month.
The heck is a work party and why are you having so many of them? There's I don't know what a work party is in this circumstance.
People host parties.
Uh-huh. Oh, so their work is is hosting parties. They're a caterer type thing, right?
Well, no. People who work there are hosting parties in their homes.
Oh, tell your boss to pound sand.
And everybody is going but him.
That's their problem. You're lucky I made a 5. What are you talking about? My mistake was going to any of them.
No, he made 3. He missed 5 out of 8. He went to 3.
His mistake was going to any of them. They shouldn't have gone to any. That's a lesson learned there. If you're not going to go to them all, don't go to any. I don't do parties. I don't do Christmas parties. I don't hang around people who are drinking. Whatever excuse you want to make, or say My off time is my off time. I got other things to do. People have hobbies. They have podcasts. They have gaming channels. They have YouTube channels. They have real lives. Everybody has a time to go around and get drunk and have the same small talk they had at the other freaking 7 parties. Now, if you want to climb the corporate ladder of that corporation, it is a good career move. But if you don't care about that kind of thing, pound sand, because you don't care about the role that those parties serve in your career. Understand what you're doing, but maybe you're not. Sometimes you've got the guys who work in the warehouse. They have no desire to climb the career. Their career is something else that they're not working on.
But they'll go to the party for free booze.
If they're a social person and like to drink. What if you're an antisocial person and doesn't like to drink? Right? All you're going to do is stand on the wall anyway. I'm not going. There's no way in hell I'm going to those kind of things. So, right? I would rather pound my head into broken glass than go to those kind of things. So, I'm just saying, I feel for them. Okay. I feel for them. All right, what's next?
The company execs that oblivious. Just the moves that they make, they benefit no one.
So they think. The problem is they don't benefit anybody today, but a good executive is thinking 4 or 5 years down the road. If your department is misshapen, if you need to reorganize your organization because it's not going to survive if you don't in the next 5 years, you better start now. Yeah, sure, things are going good now, but guess what? There's a thing coming. It's called AI. We're going to have to completely restructure how we do things. Otherwise, we're going to be behind everybody else. And we're going to be out of business in 5 years. They don't have a choice. It's not because they're oblivious. It's because you are. Now, not all bosses, right? Are there completely oblivious bosses? Yes, right? We've all had them. They couldn't tie their own shoes. How they got into their position is beyond anybody's comprehension. But for the most part, you're the one who's actually the oblivious. You don't understand all the forces at play. It's like people who are working under steam power, right? Who are making clothes using steam power. All of a sudden, electricity's come along, and you're just going to sit there and continue to make your clothes using steam power. To run your machinery using steam power. Everybody else has moved on to electricity. You're sitting there, yeah, it's fine. It's going to be fine. We don't have to change anything. Yeah, no, you're now worthless. They can make 20 in the time at the cost you're making 2. Yeah. That's why the Depression happened, by the way. All that equipment, all that farmland, all that stuff became worthless overnight. It wasn't even worth scrapping it because new metals and stuff were so cheap to make. That's why all those old factories just sat there empty, because it was cheaper to build new ones. Because retrofitting for electricity from steam, it was easier to build new ones. So everything that was built, all the old wealth became worthless overnight. That's what really happened in the Great Depression. Well, the kickoff, the big crash, people realized, we can't get a loan to continue our operations at these steam factories, because why would anybody give me a loan when bankers see the future? These things, you're so inefficient and expensive. Why am I going to give you a loan? You're not going to survive. They started calling in those loans, and the whole thing. So anyway, now we've reached your history lesson for the day. Okay, what's next?
Accidentally no called, no showed at my new job.
Oops.
Forgot that she had to work.
Yeah, that can happen. Happens more often than you think. The only good thing you have these days is people have so low expectations of employees. You might be able to get away with just telling them, being honest, telling them what happened, and mercy of the court type of thing. Hey, it happens. I accidentally took how can we say this for public access TV? I accidentally took one of those little stamp things when I was supposed to work 4 hours later.
Oh, did you really?
I didn't go to work. I was not that dumb. But yes, it was an accident. I didn't realize it was stuck to my thumb. And I'm one of those people who, yeah. So anyway, yeah. So just be honest, and I hope your honesty is something they appreciate. Otherwise, you're not alone, and it happens. It really can. Okay.
Older male coworker who told me our kids would be cute.
Why is it when women say that it's deemed okay, and men say that it's creepy? I mean, it is. I'm just saying, but women can say that, and no one thinks bats an eyelash. Men say it, and it's creepy. I'm not passing judgment, because I'm admitting, yeah, it's creepy when a guy says it, and I shrug my shoulders when a woman does. It's a meaningless thing. It's and right. So, what can you do? Probably nothing. There's probably nothing to do. It was probably a meaningless thing. But if there's other things attached to it, then you have to deal with it. If it's not the only thing,
if it's not the only thing, then you might
need
to talk to him.
Tell him that kind of thing is not appropriate, or have someone else tell him that kind of thing.
Feel uncomfortable.
Have someone else. You can have someone else do it. You can have his boss do it, that kind of thing. If you don't want to do it, you could. What bosses are for. But if it's kind of the one-off, right? You never know. Someone may have noticed, been just kind of an offhanded comment. You happen to see you both in the mirror at the same time. Oh, hey, right? It happens. Those kind of things do happen. So circumstance means a lot. But yes, it's much creepier coming from a man than a woman. I completely agree. I'm not disagreeing there. So she's not being overreactive. I'm not saying she's overreactive. I'm just saying more context is needed. Yeah. Okay.
I'm a team lead. Found out the team members are making just as much more than me.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to go advocate for yourself then, aren't you? Or you can, turn down the job. You can give the job back. Yeah, you're allowed to give the job back.
You can.
Yeah. So, really, what happened is you didn't advocate for yourself strongly enough. And they did when they first got hired.
Mm-hmm.
Or you have someone in the organization who deals with raises and stuff, isn't very good at their job. And so, like, entry salaries have been higher now than they were in the past. And so instead of stepping you up high, they just raise everybody percentages. And so now you've gotten out of sorts because you were hired before, minimum wage bumps happened.
Uh-huh.
And someone isn't very good at their job and didn't give you the higher incremental increase to keep the stable thing. So it could simply be incompetence. It's entirely possible. But either way, you have to go advocate for yourself. There's no other way around it. And, if you want to know specifics on how to do that, there's lots of YouTube videos that will give you all kinds of help tips and advice. Go to YouTube, how to ask for a raise. Watch a few and pick the things that seem right to you.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're off to some parenting questions tonight. What do we got?
Okay. I resent my husband for insisting we travel. She did not want to travel during the holidays. Now she has to travel around Christmas. And she's PO'd.
Yeah, what happened? Why?
To go see his family. He wants to go see his family
Yeah.
in another state, and they gotta fly. And she doesn't want the cold, and she gets colds and flus and stuff easy on flights and stuff. She doesn't want to do it. And now but he signed him up, so now she's gotta go.
Yeah, welcome to half the 2/3 of the people flying and traveling this Christmas. Most of them don't want to go. But you know why they're going? Because it's important. That's all I'm going to say. Because otherwise I'm going to want to break out the world's little tiniest violin and attempt to play it. I'm just, so we're going to leave that alone. All right. What's next?
My child threw up more than once yesterday. Should I keep her home from school today?
It probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
Not a bad idea, yeah.
Yeah, if your child is sick, they're not going to learn anything anyway. All they're going to learn is that they have to suffer through being sick and go to work. That's the message you're actually teaching them, is that they should go off and push through being sick, even when they're at work, even if it's, potentially spreading germs and diseases and whatnot to the classmates around them. Now, there's caveats to this kind of thing. Did they eat themselves sick? And so now they're just, I've had children who have literally eaten themselves sick around the holidays. That's a different thing than if they're generally, have a 24, 48-hour bug or something.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It is 24, 48-hour bug season. And I'd rather wait the 48 hours than the 24 just to make sure you know which one it is. Right? Better safe than sorry. No problem with that. But it is also the candy, snacks, and overeating season, or eating the wrong types of food together season, and that kind of thing. No, you get to suffer because of your own stupidity. That's a different thing. Right? There's two different lessons to teach, right? If you're sick, you stay home, you take care of yourself because you get better faster and you can be back to 100% and back to normal quicker. That's why you take care of yourself when you're sick, with the added benefit of not spreading around your 24 or 48-hour bug, right? But if you're just being dumb and you got hangover is the adult version of this, but the kid version is a hangover from sugar or something of that nature, right? No, your stupid self is going to go suffer from your dumb stupidness, right? Stupid should hurt a little. And so you get to make a decision. Okay, that's dumb. It hurts this much. Am I going to do it again? Well, sometimes yes, sometimes no, right? We're all human. We make these choices. But if you make the being stupid not painful, they're going to be stupid a lot more. So there's my thing. If they're sick, good. You keep them home. What's wrong with you? If they're dumb, then no, they go suffer for their dumbness. Yeah. All right. What's next?
Okay. Porn consumption among budding adolescents. Okay. He's 12, and they put all kinds of locks and everything on it, and he finds his way around it.
Yeah, no, all you're doing is making him a hacker, which I suppose is its own thing.
But it's just generic stuff. He's not looking at anything. Just body parts is what he's looking at.
He's 12. He's interested in the stuff he can't see.
Yeah.
Imagine that. But here's my take on this. I'd keep putting the locks and stuff on it just to see how creative he can get in getting around them. Creative thinking, man, it's the best education you can give that boy. You want to teach that? You want to raise a hacker? That's how you raise a hacker. Raise him with good morals, and you'll raise yourself one of those good white hat hacker, one of those guys who can program, who does good things. So that's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, you can educate people. There's a lot of ways to educate people. And one of the ways is, okay, he's interested in this in this thing. Well, use that thing to teach him something else. And in this case, you're going to teach him programming and hacking and networking and all these kind of things, which will be is something that's always in high demand in some form or another.
Mm-hmm.
Hacking started with whistles and payphones. That's where hacking started. Payphones work by tones. If you can mimic the tones, you can get it to do whatever you want.
Ooh.
Yeah. 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 Mimic the tones in the right order for the right. Yeah. All you got to do is learn how to do it. And he's already on the way, so you might as well finish. So keep making it harder for him. Don't expect to do anything. It's not going to accomplish what you're thinking to, but it will give him some good skills for later on in life. Okay, what's next?
Forgot to buckle the baby in the baby seat, in the car seat. Went on, put the baby in the car seat, but forgot to strap him in and everything. Yeah. And then went it like for half an hour drive. But the baby was fine. Oh my God. Okay. Worst parent ever award. It's what
it happens.
They're thinking.
Don't worry about it. See, here's the thing. We're of the generation where we rode in the back of pickup trucks. There's no such seatbelts. Freaking seatbelts. hit a pothole and then everybody bounces up a couple feet. You all land back down. It's fun. Hi. Right there. Nowadays, no way, man.
No, can't do that.
No. So just use it as a reminder that, you can get overwhelmed at times and you need to slow down in those occasions, right? Things happen, right? Bag falls over, it's raining, put the baby in, you got to get the groceries in. There's 100 things going on. Those are the times when mistakes happen and when you have to slow down. And as they used to say, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So racers will tell you. So that's all. Don't beat yourself up. learn from it, but don't beat yourself up. It's human.
I forgot to buckle the baby driving from down 101, the coast of California, for about 45 minutes. She was fine.
Yeah, it happens, but learn your lesson. Don't beat yourself up. Right? There's your trick. Okay, what's next?
I feel bad for my kids having such a horrible grandmother.
Okay.
What can she do? She wants her mother to participate, but her mom's real hands off.
Well, hands off does not mean horrible. Even not around isn't horrible. Horrible is someone who's actively a negative influence on somebody's life. So let's go back to definitions. Let's define what horrible is. Horrible isn't not here. It's nothing, right? But that's not horrible. Horrible is active. All right. So the grandmother isn't there. They still have a whole full life. She's not a negative draw on your lives, right? So she's not horrible. So you have the rest of your full lives. Don't worry about what they don't have. Worry about what they do. What else are you going to do? Be thankful she's not a negative draw in your life. There could be worse grandmothers. Be thankful you have the one you have.
Grandma
Yeah.
who drinks too much shows up drunk.
Maybe she drinks too much, but she doesn't show up. Hey, there's a win, right? So take what you get. Send Christmas cards and pictures. You don't actually know what influence those may have on her life. Have a positive impact on hers. Don't worry so much about the other way, as long as she's not negative and actively drawing energy away from you. Send pictures and cards. Be kind. But you don't have to. She's left no obligation, right? So you're doing it out of the kindness of your heart. You're showing your children the kind of person you want them to be. And when they ask, why doesn't she send me? Because she's not able to, is the answer. For some reason, she can't bring herself to.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to question it. We're going to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
So. Okay, what's next?
Is anyone else completely overwhelmed? 3 months. She got a 3-month-old and a 3-year-old, and a husband who works, like 60 hours a week.
Yeah. Yes, lots of people feel overwhelmed, but here's the thing: almost none of them are actually overwhelmed. They feel it. And that feeling is real, right? I'm not downplaying it any, but you're not overwhelmed. Yeah, overstressed, maybe you need a break. Maybe this is one of these things where, hey, husband can take a few days off, so you can take a few days off.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, he's got a week vacation coming up. You split it. 3's for you, 3's for him. You can work through these type of things. But my thing, I'm going to be encouraging here. You're feeling overwhelmed, and I completely understand. I have been there. I raised 4 boys, and for a period of, for 3 boys and a girl, 4 boys. Sorry, Summer. So anyway, I've raised them in a period of time. I was essentially raising them as a single parent, and so I understand the feeling overwhelmed. But I had to the way you get through it is accepting that you're not overwhelmed. You got it. You got it yesterday. You got it today, and you will get it tomorrow. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's a perfectly acceptable feeling. There is nothing wrong with feeling that way, but you are not. You will stand up and you will do what you need to do to whatever standard you decide for that day, and you will get through. Now, sometimes you're feeling overwhelmed because you've set standards that are unreasonable for yourself. You want to be super mom, and you want to make sure every room is picked up at the end of the day. And you know what? Pick them up every other day. It's fine. If you need to ease your burden, ease your burden. Ease it in the places where you can. And, sometimes allowing your husband to help, you don't have to ask him to help. You just have to allow him to help.
And he's going to do it wrong. Let him do it wrong. Let him.
Yeah. He picks up the room wrong. So what? It's picked up better than it was.
And he's going to give the bath wrong.
Yeah. So what?
He's not going to do it right. No,
he's going to do it his way.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, just like you, the more he does it, the better he'll get at it, the more competent he'll feel, and the more likely he's to continue doing it. But not if you criticize him. Like, one of the things that reason men have trouble changing diapers is because changing diapers is a hard thing to get competent at. And right, anybody can do it, but it's hard to be competent at it. And then you've got someone who's used to changing them all the time over here judging you. It's not on right. Well, it's staying on, ain't it? Right? We know we struggled with that. We don't need no one telling us. We're trying not to have to bust out a new one. All right, work with me here.
Start over.
And so, right?
Yeah.
So let them struggle. It's okay. The baby was fine through your struggles. You didn't start out being the great mother you are now. You struggled. You had trouble putting diapers on. How many diapers did you have to throw away because you didn't put it on right the first time? No one wants to answer that question. All of us had to. Well, back when you'd use disposables, I guess, don't have to, if you're folding the real diaper things, you don't have to throw those away if you screw up the first time. You just get to start over. But that's my point. And it does, pick anything, right? Let him have his one way of washing the dishes. Yeah, sure, he's going to put stuff in the wrong place. So what? He put them away. He's not going to remember where stuff goes. Yeah, he's not. Because that's not high on his list. He'll put, right? But he's trying and accept the effort. But sometimes you have to let them, right? You have to leave things. This is one of those things, if you want me to do something, you have to leave it for me to do.
And when he starts, just walk away. Just walk away. It's better that way. Just leave the room.
Yeah.
Don't watch. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He won't do it when you want. He won't do it how you want, but he will do it if you leave him. So sometimes you have to allow them to help you, and you don't realize you're actually preventing. Right? You don't realize you're the obstacle to your own help because you're feeling overwhelmed. And you just want it done the most efficient way possible. And so you see it done when your head isn't efficient. But what you're not thinking is, I'm not doing it, which is the most efficient way possible. The most efficient way for me to get those dishes done is for me not to do them. So I'm going to go in the other room, sit down, drink my tea, and watch whatever Netflix binge show I'm going to watch. He's in there struggling with the dishes, taking 3 times as long. Don't care. Who cares if the bath takes an hour when it only takes you 20 minutes? Because they make a mess. And so what? It's a bathroom. It's made for water on the floor. It's fine. And if there's any dry rot or something, he's the one who's going to have to fix it. So it's not your problem. Leave it alone. All right. What's next?
Any secular families here?
Okay. I'm not understanding what the question is.
Okay. Christmas.
Yes.
Nativity scenes.
Well, here's
things like that.
Okay, here's the nice thing about, I suppose, of being someone who's, I suppose, technically secular. I follow no religion. I have no thought on the God. Does he exist? Does he not? I don't particularly find the question interesting anymore. I used to. I don't find it interesting anymore. So, do I have a? I'll find out when I'm dead, one way or the other. That's kind of my thought on that. So I don't follow any particular religion, which gives me the freedom to pick and choose, especially here in the States, right? Christmas it's a religious holiday, but it doesn't have to be. It's also a national holiday. It's a cultural holiday. It's one of those beautiful things about America is you get to take these things and pick out what you want about them and use them for your own. Mm-hmm. So if it's a religious holiday to you, then it's a religious holiday to you. If it's not, then the nativity scenes are just a nice testimonial to somebody else's culture. Enjoy it for that. You get to experience a part of somebody else's culture. They're sharing long-term traditions with you. They're expressing themselves in a joyful, in a joyful, happy way. Accept it for that. That's all it is. It's cultural expression. We all get to share it and enjoy it. Why wouldn't we? You can experience something. You can enjoy something. You can even participate in something without taking it into your heart and having it become part of you. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You can just enjoy the experience. You can enjoy people celebrating their Lord, their Savior, their God without having to accept all their beliefs. You can just sit there and enjoy the experience. You can sit there and observe it and enjoy that they are participating in something that is extremely meaningful for them. There doesn't need to be anything else. So just enjoy the mood. Everybody's happy this time of year. Everybody's got a smile on their face, even if it's phony. So enjoy it. Okay, we've got on to some relationship questions. What do we got?
Okay, maybe this should have been under parenting, but
Okay.
my husband played a cruel prank on our son. How do I get him to make this up to him? A PS5 box.
Yeah.
And he wrapped it.
Okay.
That's all the kid's been talking about. That's all he wanted. And he wrapped it in the box. And he made it weigh about the same.
Uh-huh.
And then the kid opened it and just fell apart.
What was it, for like a birthday or something?
Early Christmas present.
Early Christmas. Well, then he did it early Christmas. Okay, the question here is, A, there's nothing for you to do. Right? Stay out of it. General rule of thumb, these kind of things. Stay out of them. Your son will. Your father and sons have their own weird relationships, right? Things will not make sense to you. Sure, he's crushed. But from a father's perspective, there's a number of reasons you may do that. You may have a long-running, escalating joke type of thing going on with your son, or he may need to learn a lesson about when to shut the heck up. And there's a reason that present was opened before Christmas. Just wait for Christmas. That's all I'm going to say. The joke isn't done. Because it's not a joke. It's a lesson. That wasn't done without thought. Let it play out. She'll be surprised. On Christmas morning, there will be more than one surprised person in that house. That's all I'm saying. But there's a lesson came before it. Someone has been getting said yes to too often and had to be brought down a peg before he gets what he wants. So he can appreciate it.
This whole brought down a peg thing, I never understood it.
Yeah? You didn't have a father?
No.
There you go. People, if you get said to, it's a spoil the child thing. You can't spoil a child. Oh, you can, but they have to make sure you have lessons learned while you're doing it. I will almost guarantee you this is what this child, these parents give this child everything he wants, and he's been getting a little sassy and whatnot about it, right? He still wants to give him he's still going to give him the present. I'll guarantee you he's still going to get that sticking thing. But he wanted to send a message first. You're getting too uppity. Check your attitude. He wasn't listening, so he said it in a way he could hear. I know women won't agree, but that's why we have fathers. Because we'll do the painful thing because it's the right thing. It wasn't a prank. It was a lesson. Okay, what's next?
I am no longer physically attracted to my girlfriend of 10 years. How do I talk to her about this? He loves her. He's devoted to her. He wants to spend the rest of his life with her.
Then it's probably a phase.
Okay.
You don't worry about it too much. I mean, unless there's been some big physical change, which
No.
then it's a phase. If you're interested, 30, it's kind of young. You may want to, that could be a low testosterone issue, early low testosterone, diet, that kind of thing might be a cause.
We'll check with the doctor. Yeah.
It's wouldn't be my first thing, but it's not it's not unreasonable, right? You check, you got low testosterone for your age. It wouldn't surprise me, right? It could cause that. But, 10 years, you get busy. It's when the bodies start to hurt, you're hitting 30. It's when the body starts to not function as well as it used to. All kinds of things. And, but it's a phase. You still love her, and you still all these very things. It's a phase. It may even be you're dealing with some low grade depression of yourself. It may have nothing to do with her, or maybe you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you're gonna have the discussion with it, you don't tell her you're no longer physically attracted to her. What you say is, "I'm having trouble feeling motivated in that area."
Mm-hmm.
It's not about her. It's about you. This is about you. You still love her. You still care about her. You still want her, right? Everything else is fine. You're just not feeling amorous. There's the word I was looking for. You're just not feeling amorous. That's a you issue. It's not a her issue. You just told us everything that would lead to feeling amorous is there.
He went on a good bit, actually.
Yes. So
how much he loves her.
Everything is there. So it's you. Could be depression, could be stress, it could be physical, right? Well, testosterone is the obvious issue, but it could be something else. So have that discussion.
Okay.
That's the discussion to have. And the thing is, I don't know why, because you don't know why. You have a journey together to start. To figure out what's wrong with you, either your head or your body, because everything is there. You just said it. Everything you could possibly want is there. So now it's time to go look for what's wrong with you, not her, with you. Okay.
My husband is disappointed I didn't do more for his birthday. Now, she did a lot for him. She did a couple of different things and bought him like sports gear, took him to a 4-star restaurant. They went to some sports thing, but it wasn't on his birthday.
Okay, so here's what you've learned. You've learned a lesson for next year. You don't need to do all that stuff. You need to do something on his birthday. He doesn't care about all this stuff. He cares about the day itself. Right? Makes it easier for you. You don't have to plan all that stuff. You just have to have a nice little simple dinner, a couple nice little presents, and be nice to him for the day. And then it's done. It takes the world off you. He cares about the day itself. He doesn't care about all the other stuff. He cares about that day. So if that day happens to land on something where you can go do some big, huge thing for him, great. But he'll take a simple dinner at home, quiet time with you and a few presents. He just wants it on the day. He wants to feel his special day. Personally, I don't get it. But
some people do.
Yeah, I don't personally get it, but it's just another day. But whatever.
This is what you get a cake. Everybody gets a cake on their birthday. In my realm, if you're in my sphere,
whether you want it or not, you're going to get a cake.
If it's your birthday, you're getting a cake.
Whether you want a cake or not, you're getting a cake. All right,
it's a birthday cake. It's your birthday.
All right. What's next?
My wife went to another man's apartment. Is she cheating? It was an after work party. And they had a party at work, okay? And then she went to his place. He had something for her.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave it to her, and that's it. She left.
What do you have for her?
Scarf or something. I don't know.
Is she? Well, if that's all that she went there and left, the answer would be probably not. But if that's the only thing you've got, but so either you're a little jealous or you have other concerns.
Mm.
Yeah.
No. Everything is good so far.
So he has some jealousy or insecurities, or
I would say insecurities.
yeah. Or there's some other signs that he's not expressing. But it could be some insecurities, right? But if she went in there for a couple hours and then came, it's a whole other thing. Just saying.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, not necessarily. There could be perfectly valid reasons to go in there, to go to somebody else's house for a few hours. Maybe you went to watch a movie. Men and women can watch movies together. They can work on a project together in the same room without,
Yeah, they actually can.
Happens every day, without having any sexual tension at all, right?
None. Zip.
It's these things, the fact that they spend time together, even in what you might consider an intimate setting, it doesn't mean anything more than they spent time together at somebody's house. That time could have been doing picking up a present, picking up drugs, could be playing around in video games. Who knows?
They hung out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, man, these are the days. Sat down to turn on some Willie Nelson or some Snoop Dogg, and sat on the couch for a little while. Philosophized about the speed of light. What happened before the Big Bang, man. I don't know, man. What was in that? All of a sudden, I need some cheese. Is that store open down the street? Things happen, right? It's perfectly innocent. So, without more information, it's perfectly innocent. Okay, what's next?
My partner of 2 years thinks I betrayed him because I messaged a woman he was texting. Do I deserve this?
What?
Okay. He was texting a woman.
Uh-huh.
That woman texts to him, I really missed you on Thanksgiving. I was thinking about you. Huh. And she texts her. This is his wife. Why are you missing my husband?
There's all kinds of reasons you can be thinking about something.
But he got, and the woman didn't text back. She didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But obviously he found out and he got livid.
Well, yeah. I'm having a hard time with this one because they're 23 and 24. This is just young people and maturity problems. Regardless of what the actual circumstances are, I think we don't know the truth, so I can't actually give an answer. There's no truth in this thing. There's his story, there's her story, and there's the truth, and none of us are going to know. So my guess is it's not a relationship for long, not a long-term relationship. So just based upon the fact that you guys are already. So anyway, what's next?
Am I overreacting to my boyfriend calling me loose? Okay. they've been on again, off again.
Yeah.
And she thought they were on again.
Uh-huh.
And she was doing freaky things.
Uh-huh.
And afterwards, he says she has loose morals because, she's slinging that around.
Well, what do you care? Is my, at this point. Stop going back to him. Is the question. You've on and off again, and on and off again means it should be off again, right? It just stop going back because you can. This is a nowhere relationship. You know it's a nowhere relationship because you've ended it multiple times. Listen to yourself and stop. I get it. We all can get lonely and want some physical attention.
It's not worth it.
It's not. You're better off on a one night stand attempt, right? At least
Totally.
At least they're there.
At least it's honest.
You're not expecting anything, and you don't care about his opinion. So treat it like that. What do you care? There's a reason you guys stop it. I can give you the once, right? The going back, splitting up, and going back once. I can give you the one time, right? Okay, but multiple. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah, they're like rotating every couple weeks.
Yeah, just stop. That's not it. Stop. Don't even pretend that's that's just because you guys are comfortable having sex together. That's all that is. Neither one of you have the maturity to keep your pants on when you got horny. All right, what's next? Speaking about not keeping your pants on.
I have audio proof my girlfriend is cheating. Please, how do I confront her? Just play that bad boy.
Well, see, I have a different approach. You don't. Why? It's not that you don't deal with it. The confrontation will not get whatever it is you think you're going to get. You will not get the emotional release or satisfaction that you think you're going to get. You're not going to get the answers that you think you're going to get. The world that you knew is not going to get put back together like somewhere deep inside of you wishes happening. Right? What has happened is the ground you were standing on that you thought was nice and solid is no longer nice and solid. And you want answers, and you're not going to get ones that are acceptable. And so there's two things that will happen. You will either fool yourself into thinking that it was, and you'll paint it all over, and you will continue, or the thing's going to end. So why deal with the confrontation? Just make your decision now and deal with it. Don't create bitterness in you or her. You don't want to carry it with you. Just a sign the relationship has run its course. There's no need for the confrontation. What good is going to happen at the end of it? Is there anything positive that's going to happen at the end of it? Right? Your boyfriend or girlfriend, you're not married and wife, you don't have children, right? This isn't a 14-year relationship where you're saying, okay, do we really need to piece this back together? Right? Your boyfriend and girlfriend, neither one of you is really solidified you haven't made the true, genuine commitment as, no, I'm here with you forever, regardless of, you guys haven't done to that part yet.
No, they haven't.
I'm not even talking the paperwork part of it. And you haven't sat down together and said, got my fiance, right? It's my boyfriend, right? So they haven't even made these lifetime plans for themselves yet. So that's what this is. So keep it as that. And signs that it wasn't meant to be. What if it would solve something, or if there was something to accomplish for the confrontation, then fine. I would rephrase it than a confrontation, because those things generally are just You know, if you're phrasing it in your own head as a confrontation, it's likely not going to go well. So I would think if you're going to have a discussion where you're dealing with it directly like that, find a way to reframe it. Because if you're going into wanting to, you're starting in going in wanting to fight, and all that happens when you fight is hurt people and break things. That's all that happens. So if you're gonna break things, why go through the hurting people part? Just break it. So anyway, all right. Huh? Jeez. Nah. Merry Christmas to that. Jeez. What the heck was that kind of relationship questions? Good God Almighty! All right, yeah, there you go, Santa. There's some people for your there's some people for your naughty list. God Almighty. Okay, well, let's talk some intimacy questions. Let's see if we can get through these things. All right.
I left my husband 3 weeks ago after 4 years of no sex. I was that desperate, I booked a male escort for the weekend. Just gone, and I'm having to constantly fight the urge to book him again.
Okay, here's the thing. Could you have had a discussion with your husband about hiring an escort to take care of your needs in the marriage? Not saying it was going to save the marriage, but it seems to me that if your sexual drive is that high, and if your husband loved you, it may have been a solution. That was generally the only reason. A massively mixed match sex drive can be negotiated through. Right? Hey, you love people.
They can be negotiated. Yeah.
You love people. You don't want to, right? People, it takes care and compassion and time.
It takes a bigger person than me to sign up for that kind of stuff, because I know I am the jealous type.
Right, but
although I do find it amusing watching women flirt with you because you're just oblivious. You're having an interesting conversation.
Yeah, well.
And they're flirting, touching their hair, their face, laughing at everything you say, and you're just...
Are you telling me I'm not funny? Is what you're trying to say? Damn it. All right, what's next?
I think it's fascinating. Okay. Illinois has this is just an FYI.
Okay.
A point of discussion.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, let's put it to the end.
Okay.
We'll come back to that one then.
All
okay.
right. My boyfriend wants to eat me from behind. Is this normal? She wants to know if it's normal.
Perfectly normal. You may or may not enjoy it, but it's perfectly normal, and give it a whirl.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. This would be my suggestion. It's not necessarily for everybody, but it's quite common, actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
it really is.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's not often talked about, but it is quite common. Even though it's more talked about now than it's ever been. So there you go.
That's true.
Okay, what's next?
Wife wants me to discuss my fantasies with her during sex, but when I do, it makes me orgasm almost immediately.
That is the problem, isn't it? It's a double-edged sword on that thing.
Yeah.
Well, not so much if you're younger, but the older you get, right? No, because if you're 20, it doesn't matter. You can just keep going and you're fine. But the older you get, that's a little more irritating. Because now
you might be done for the night.
Yeah. There's has to be a way. You're gonna have to use some creativity to fill both of those things. You're just gonna have to think outside the box a little bit.
I suggest making one night just for her, and you talk about your fantasies, but not all. the time, not every time you're together. What?
Well, there's two things. One, manual stimulation of her while you are discussing it, because that's what she really is actually probably angling for anyway, right? That way you don't have to worry about, right?
Yeah.
You're just pumping yourself up for the finishing act. But two, the old, how do you treat people who are afraid of things, right? It's the same thing. I'm trying to think of the name, the therapeutic name. There's
aversion therapy.
No, it's the opposite of that.
Oh,
it's where I'm struggling with the words because it's been a long week. Anyway, acclimation therapy.
Oh, okay. Acclimation.
Yes, it's acclimation therapy. So you continue to do it. You do it more often. So therefore, it doesn't become its own initial overly exciting thing for you. It becomes a routine.
Okay.
I prefer the first one because, dulling your sexual senses is not necessarily the best option, but that's ultimately that would do. It's changing what your body thinks is routine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because now what you're doing is out of your body's routine. And so it's viewing it as extra stimulation. And so the way to do that is to change it to routine stimulation, which means you essentially have to overdo it.
I have another idea.
Uh-huh.
He could make a recording of his stories and she could play them.
Oh, that's awkward.
During her sessions.
That's awkward.
Oh, I think that's hot. Could you do that for me?
Or you could tell her stories while she's playing with herself. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
If there's another option. Now, if you're into that kind of thing, as all those things may go. Okay, what's next?
How do I tell my partner that sex with her is boring?
You don't. You tell her that you would like to add some activities to your repertoire.
And you slowly introduce different
Yep.
genres, shall we say? Little, different kinks, maybe,
Google the joy of sex
Yeah.
and go through the e-version of the book, just whatever, and pick a thing every now and again. Just something, right? Because the sex with her isn't boring. What it is you want something else, something different, something new on occasion. And so you ask for that rather than say sex is boring.
There we go.
Now, there is the occasion she just might not be all that interested in it. And so for her, it's a task. And so she's just going through the motions to please you as an act of love. And if that's the case, right. You don't want to put any more stress on that relationship than is already there. So you may want to be in, right? Mm-hmm. So there's always those caveats, right? None of these things are universal, and she may be doing the best she can out of an act of love, and if that's the case, maybe she has physical or emotional things she should deal with or not, but
maybe I'll start asking her some questions.
Yeah, but again, don't start with it's not boring. You need to have stuff added to your routines or whatever.
That's a you thing.
Yeah. Again, have the conversation about your needs, not her being boring. It's not the conversation isn't about her. The conversation is about you.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Am I supposed to always be willing to have sex as a male? He's 22.
Well, are you supposed to? No, but at 22, it's pretty much
the girlfriend is being pretty demanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even a 22-year-old can get worn out. So, no, you are not. Just flip the script, right? Should a woman always be willing? No, of course not. So the thing is, generically speaking, young men are ready at the drop of a hat, but it doesn't mean they have to be. Doesn't mean it should be expected. Doesn't mean you can't have days where you're just not in the mood.
They may actually have things going on,
Yeah.
that affect what's happening.
Yeah, you could have worn him out yesterday, and he just doesn't have it in him today.
Well, there may be family things going on.
Yeah.
He's worried about.
Well, I mean, even if there's nothing else, right? He may just not. He may. Yeah, there's times where he may actually, because you guys have a nice and healthy and full sex life, there may be times where he feels like playing a video game instead of spending time with yet another sexual adventure with you.
Yeah.
Because I've spent 20 hours playing with you. I want to play with my friends for 2. So it's not a reflection on you. It's a reflection on maybe you've overdone the time. Maybe she's overdone the time, and he needs to spend some time other places. And no, every human being is not expected to have sex at the drop of a hat. Okay, so here's this last one.
Okay, open for discussion.
Okay.
Illinois has added female orgasmic disorder as a qualifying condition for a medical cannabis card.
Well, okay. I was just seeing if we come up with anything interesting. Well, that's a good news, I guess. But it does kind of show you how ridiculous these cannabis card things are. Just the whole point of them, right? You can get them for everything. I got a hangnail. I'm all for them for being right. If that's the best you can do in your state, you take the best you can do. So congratulations to people in Illinois, right?
Definitely.
Take your wins as you can get them, as we always say.
Because you're going somewhere with this.
Yeah.
Okay. There's actually an end to having to get a card,
Yeah.
And so kudos for you for another brick in the wall.
Yeah, that's what it's going. Now, does cannabis actually help female orgasmic disorder? Okay, that's what I suppose. Is that where women it's too difficult to have orgasms, or is it where they have orgasms kind of unstimulated, shall we say?
No, they have a difficulty.
Okay, well, because there's the two. Well, there's the other ones too, where these women poor women walk around, all of a sudden orgasm hits you, and like out the fucking blue without doing nothing. What the heck are you supposed to do with that? That would be annoying.
I imagine it would, yes, and you can't work. Can you imagine their lives?
Yeah, can you imagine yourself being a nurse and all, or a waitress trying to, I suppose if you're a HR specialist or something and you're working in an office cubicle, you can grab your way through it. But I'm just saying, it would be really annoying. So both of them would be really annoying. Let's be honest. We're not.
Yeah.
But okay, so I don't know what the official names of these things, and I didn't see that. I would have looked it up had I actually read this before I posted it. But you posted it. But you.
Well, they did
This is all getting edited out at this
quick
stage. Yeah.
write-up.
All that's getting edited. Not the whole thing, just those last 20, 30 seconds. It's all getting edited out. Just to want you to know. All right. We're editing things out. We're getting out of here for the night. You guys all have a Merry Christmas. We will see you on New Year's. Please remember, have a good night, and please remember to love everybody.
Merry Christmas.